Good evening. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining Respus Live. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday. It is so great to be able to celebrate the first Monday in the month of March. This year's going by extremely fast, but we're so grateful that you join us on tonight. So please, if you would, start a watch party and share this video. I promise it would be something that you are going to enjoy. So if you would, start a watch party and share the video. Tonight we're talking about hashtag taking care of me. If someone could put that in the comments, hashtag taking care of me. It is essential. It is imperative. It is important that we take care of ourselves. I don't know too many people that will take care of you better than you would take care of you. So we're talking about our mind, body, soul, and spirit. And tonight we're definitely going to be talking about our mind and how we have to take care of ourselves mentally. It is so important. So again, if you would start a watch party, and if you could put in the comments, hashtag taking care of me. We're talking about taking care of ourselves. It is so important that we take care of ourselves, especially as women. We always take care of other people. Now it's time for us to take care of ourselves. And so if you would, please start a watch party. So I was watching one of Oprah's little short takes of her tour, and this particular tour she had Lady Gaga. And so Lady Gaga was on talking about mental health and how she suffered from it. And she was sharing how that when she went to her doctor, they wanted to prescribe her antidepressants. And she shared with the audience at this particular tour, which was in February, that don't allow the doctor to prescribe you an antidepressant when you need to go see a psychiatrist and get some medicine that'll help your mind. And so many times we think it's horrible, we think it's bad because of the stereotype of getting help. If you need help, get help. That's what it's for. And we can't be afraid anymore. We need to get help. And if we have family members that we know need help, we need to get them help. And so what she's doing is making an awareness, and that's what we're doing tonight, of mental health and how serious it is and how we need to make sure we go to the right doctor and get the right medicine to assist us. And it's perfectly okay. It's okay to get something that you need. We all have our needs, and I don't care what people say. If you need help, then get help. There's nothing wrong with that. So tonight we want to encourage you. If you have mental health illnesses and you need help, we're going to talk about that tonight, and we're going to talk about how you can get help. We got someone here tonight that can help you get help and share how she received help. And so it is so good to talk about this. We're uncovering the stigma that is something wrong with you, because you need help. Negative. You're perfectly fine. All we need to do is get a balance on what's going on, and life goes on. So for all those that say that, it's not okay, we're just here tonight to encourage somebody that's under the sound of our voice that it is perfectly okay. So again, start a watch party. We're talking about taking care of me. Hashtag we're going to take care of ourselves, our mind, body, souls, and spirit. And so tonight, if you would like to be a sponsor, we did something really cool. We have a Cash App account and a PayPal account. We're going to flash that. So if you would like to donate anything to Respus Live, you can utilize those services. They're up and running and they're ready. So if you'd like to donate $1, 50 cents, 25 cents, whatever, to help. And again, I call this a ministry, ShaKema, because I feel like we touch so many people. Right. And if we can touch one person and make a difference in one person's life, then I am extremely happy, and I'm sure Jamie is as well. So again, Respus Live has a Cash App, and we have a PayPal account, and we're asking if you would like to be a sponsor. We can actually give you a shout out on air, or you can be a silent sponsor, however you'd like it. But our Cash App is Cash App sign Respus Live, and then of course we have PayPal as well. So it'll be on the bottom of the screen. So please feel free to be a blessing to us, as we hope tonight that we will be a blessing to you. So again, we're talking about taking care of you. Our guest tonight is someone that I've known for a very long time. I watched her grow into this, or blossom into this beautiful young lady. So tonight our guest is Miss ShaKema Morgan, and so we welcome you to Respus Live. Thank you for saying yes to coming out and talk to us tonight about how we take care of ourselves. It is so important that we take care of ourselves. We're so busy taking care of other people. Right. Sometimes we don't take care of ourselves, and then sometimes we don't know how to. We don't know who to go to help us to get the help that we need. So again, we're taking care of our mind, body, and soul, and tonight we're talking about taking care of me. It's not being selfish at all. It's important. So again, this is ShaKema Morgan, to everyone welcome ShaKema Morgan. She is the founder and CEO of Hero Incorporation, and she's going to tell us all about that. But again, we have Miss ShaKema Morgan in the house on tonight, and we welcome you to Respus Live. So tell us, because somebody may be watching and don't know you, so tell us about yourself, however you want to. Just feel free to share.
Okay, so my name is ShaKema Morgan. I'm originally from Brunswick County. I spent the last 10 years in Charlotte, North Carolina, and one of the topics that we're going to talk about today is mental health. And my mental health, honestly, is what brought me back home, what brought me back to where it all started from. And our organization, Hero Incorporated, it was originally started as a health and wellness organization, and we provide health and nutrition education. We provide health and wellness webinars, as well as meal planning and preparation. But with the focus being on mental health tonight, one of the key things that I want to highlight is that we have restructured our organization and we are focusing on mental health.
Okay.
And we decided to restructure that organization a lot because of myself, the founder. When you go through mental health and you don't realize that that's indeed what you're going through, it kind of hits differently when it hits home. And for me, it not only hit home with myself, but it hit home with my child, my oldest son. And you get all this stigma and you get all this feedback from people with, oh, nothing's wrong, just pray about it and you'll be okay. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you shouldn't pray about it, but it's very important that you get help. And I did just that. I'm not ashamed. I do go to therapy. It has balanced me. I am not on antidepressants. And it feels good to be able to be live and say it and not be ashamed of it.
Absolutely. So what were some of the symptoms that you experienced? Because I think a lot of people deal with mental health and they don't know that they have mental health illness.
So for me, it was feelings of hopelessness, not really excited about anything. On the outside, I smiled, so people would never know what I was experiencing on the inside. I smiled through it, but on the inside, I was crying. I was overwhelmed, and as a business owner and as a mother, a lot of times we find ourselves juggling so much. And some of the signs and symptoms that I didn't realize until it hit my son was just kind of moping all the time, not really talking and engaging with people. And I'm pretty outgoing. So when I'm not talking, that's a key sign for me because I'm a talker. Anybody that knows me from being a child to now, I had the nickname Motor Mouth because I talk a lot.
Right.
But not talking a whole lot, feeling hopeless, feeling sad, crying, not really engaging with a lot of people, being withdrawn. That doesn't mean that you can't function, because I was functioning.
Oh, yes.
I was getting up every day and I was going to work and I was taking care of my kids, but there were certain triggers that I had to learn, and I didn't learn it until I went to therapy that would cause me to be in that state of depression.
Okay. And so did you deal with it when you were younger? Do you think you dealt with it when you were younger?
I may have, but didn't recognize the symptoms. Probably until I got to college.
Okay. So for those watching, because we do have a lot of younger people that watch, because my daughter and her friends watch, what are some of the things that they can look out for if they want to do a self-analysis or evaluation as to see if they are suffering from mental illness? And again, it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's an illness, and it's just like any other illness. It needs, you just need help and assistance, and you'll get through it. And so thank you for coming on and sharing your personal story about you and your family. And it's good to see, it's refreshing to see someone that is dealing with it and has been able to make a complete turnaround and enjoy life where you were at first. So again, the question was in reference to the younger generation that's watching. What are some of the symptoms that they can look for within themselves just to see if they are suffering from mental illnesses?
I think the easiest way to put it would probably giving an example. So on a good day, I'm happy, I'm interacting with people, I'm very productive, I'm talking, I would say engaging with my friends a lot. And then some of the symptoms or signs that something might be wrong is you start saying, I'm not happy. I don't want to be here. Or, I don't want to, talk to anybody today. I just want to sit in my room. I want to sit in a corner. I want to sit in darkness. Or you might even feel darkness around you. So like right now we're surrounded by lights, but if you're, having some symptoms of depression, you don't see any light at all. Gotcha. Everything is completely dark. You become withdrawn. You probably cry a lot. And a lot of times you want to tell someone, but you're afraid that you're going to get shut down. They're going to be like, oh, nothing's wrong with you. You can do it. Just make sure you do your work. And that too, in younger children, they might stop doing their work. Or they might tell their teachers. For me, with my son, he told his teachers. I didn't know. I didn't even recognize the signs. And at the time I worked in the field. And to work in the field and work with children and not see it in your own child, to me, I was just going day to day to day to day to day, like boom, 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 checklist, that I didn't even pay attention to the signs that my own child exhibited.
And so what I want to say to the viewers on tonight, especially if the parents are watching, if you feel like your child may be suffering through depression or mental health illnesses, it is okay to reach out to ShaKema. She's here today to assist us. And so this is so important because there are a lot of young people that are dealing with it. And unfortunately, in Brunswick County, we just recently saw a young lady that took her life in middle school. So we want to ensure that our children are whole as well as ourselves. So again, tonight, this is a live that's worth sharing. This is very good information that could change life and could save lives, could change lives and save lives, because mental illness is something that we have to talk about. It is time out for pushing it under the cover and, what happens in this house stays in this house. No, if you need help, get help. And as ShaKema said, it's perfectly fine to pray. And I love to pray. It's one of the things I love to do. But I also understand that God gives us, actually resources.
Right.
Yeah. And I say all the time, I'm not going to ask him to dig a ditch if he gives me a shovel. So if we're suffering with mental illnesses, there's someone that can help us and give us some medicine to balance us out so we can enjoy life. So again, if you're watching, we ask that you share the video. And for parents, we definitely want you to listen to some of the symptoms so we can actually watch our children and see exactly what's going on in their lives, as well as parents and adults. We need to look at ourselves and see if we're going through any of these things. Now, I like my room dark, so I'm sitting here thinking like, I'm like, ooh, okay. I might need some help. And if I do, I'm not ashamed to get it. That's what it's there for. But in all seriousness, this is a really good topic to talk about, especially now more than ever, because we see actors coming out saying that they're on medication, they're getting help, and it's okay. And so tonight we want to let everyone know it's okay. And again, I want to say, if you need help, or if your child need help, if you think they need help, we have someone tonight that is willing to help and is able to help. So please feel free to inbox me or text me or call me personally if you want to do it offline. But we are just here to help someone and make sure you get the assistance that you need. So again, with your child, you didn't see the symptoms at all, even though you worked in the field.
I didn't, because I was just going through, as a parent, when you yourself suffer with it, and you're so overwhelmed with what you're supposed to be doing as a parent, you kind of forget about yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you're working in the field and you're being overwhelmed with, other people that you're working with, like I work with children and I work with families, and at the time I did intensive in-home. And for those of you that may be watching, intensive in-home is pretty much where you go into someone's house, and that was the step before DSS would come in and take your child away. So they already didn't want us there. And then the child at this point, they're in the process of either being sent to a group home or they get to stay with their family. So based off of the strategies that, we would do along with the therapist, that will ultimately determine whether or not they could stay with their parents. So immediately, when you're dealing with it, you're like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe that, there's a child or children that are going through this. And so that's how it slipped past me.
Oh, yes.
I was so focused on work that I came home and didn't see it in my own child. And I mean, and he would walk around the house, and I mean, he would talk when I would talk to him, and we would eat and we'd laugh. But there were a lot of moments where he would sit by himself, or we'd be talking, all of a sudden he would disengage, or all of a sudden, you know, he'd be like, you know, Mom, I'm just going to go lay down, or, you know, and he had dreams. That was something that wasn't normal in regards to a symptom that you would see, you know, when it comes to depression or anxiety. And his actual diagnosis wasn't depression. It was actually a mood and anxiety disorder.
Oh, that's good.
And so just to highlight, you know, mental illness isn't just depression.
Right.
And for me, I was clinically diagnosed with major depression and anxiety.
Okay.
And so when you have that double dose of it, I do feel like sometimes it can be generational as well.
Okay.
Not necessarily, but it can be.
Absolutely.
And for me, you know, I carried all those emotions for all this time and didn't know it, and could have easily, you know, transferred those on to my son.
Exactly.
He's seeing me go day to day, and he's seeing how I act, and in turn, he was doing the same thing, and I didn't even recognize it. So he did become withdrawn. He did pretty much stop communicating with me. It wasn't until he went to school, and it wasn't until he told his teachers that I was aware of what happened. And it took both of us to go to the mental health hospital. And when you go there with someone else, you feel bad and you hate that you're there, but when you're there and when your child is there, it hits different. And for me, I was there when I was pregnant. I was in my second trimester, and one of my biggest fears with having another child was being a single parent again. You know, there's so much stigma out there that if you're a single parent, you know, you're supposed to be married, and you're supposed to have a husband, and you're supposed to have your degrees, and then you have your kids. And I did it completely backwards.
Yeah.
I had my first son at 17, and then I went to school, and then 10 years later, I had my second child. In between then, I went and got my master's, started my businesses that I have now. So that statistic that is out there, if you have children at a young age, I overcame it. But in the midst of overcoming it, there were a lot of triggers
Absolutely.
that I missed that ultimately landed me in behavioral health. And when you're sitting there and they're telling you that you can't be released until somebody comes there that can ensure your safety, that's not a good feeling.
All right.
And then you worry about your children at that point.
Right.
Like, am I going to be able to keep my child? You know, the child that's here, you know, are they going to try to take it? And so at that point, that's when I got help. And I did family therapy with my son when he first went through it. And he's great. Like, he's doing good now.
Good. I'm so
But it was
glad to hear
because I
that.
recognized those signs.
Yes.
That a lot of people don't.
And that's what we're talking about tonight. And we definitely want you to share this podcast. We're talking about mental health. We need to recognize the signs, and we need to make sure that we are paying attention, very close attention to our children as well as ourselves.
Right.
Because it's taking care of me, but it's also taking care of your family. Again, if you think that your child may be suffering from any type of mental health, it's because she says depression is not the only one, anxiety, and there's so many others. We want to make sure that you get the help that you need, because it is an illness, but it's not, it won't stop you from living. You're a prime example of that. In single parent is cool, not ideal for many of us,
Right.
but it it's doable, and we're just examples of how you can do it and do it well.
Right.
And not only that, anything we put our minds to, we can do it and do it well. So again, we're talking about mental health and mental illnesses. Please, if you would, share the video if you know someone that could benefit from this. We want you to look at your children. We want you to talk to them. We want you to look at yourself and your family and just see if there's someone that really needs help, because it is okay to get help. If you get a cold, you take medicine.
Right.
You know, if you got a headache, you take medicine.
Right.
If you have mental illnesses, you can take medicine to help you. And all those things make you better. You know, you don't take cold medicine forever. Once the cold is gone, you relinquish, you know, the use of that medicine. So mental health, you may have to take it forever, or you may not. It just depends on, you know, your diagnosis, but either or. It is perfectly okay to get help. That's the message that we want to drive tonight. It is okay to get help if you need it, because so many times people, you know, not only do they stereotype single parents, they stereotype mental health,
Right.
and they make it such a negative. We need to stop that. We need to make sure we watch our words and what we say. And if we don't suffer with it, thank God that we don't.
Right.
And then pray for those that do, because it is something that a lot of people deal with. And, I was thinking, and I was talking to my coworker, LaToya, and we were talking about it. And us and my other friends, it has been going on for years. It's just been, because I look back now and I think about the people in my family that now that I know what it is, that suffered from it, that
Right.
never got help because it was something that we just didn't talk about. And so now it is becoming such a widespread topic from pretty much every time you turn on TV now. That's what they're talking about.
Right.
But there are no facilities. That's the thing that baffles me. We understand it's an issue. 9 times out of 10, if there's a mass shooting or something of that nature, the first thing they do is mental health issue. Why don't we have places that help people with those issues?
I think that due to the stigma that's been put on mental health for so long, in the past, people that had any type of mental illness, they were just thrown in a hospital. And it didn't matter if you had symptoms of depression, or if it was anxiety, or if it was a mood disorder, whatever it was, everybody was kind of put into this same pot.
Right.
And like for me, when I first went to behavioral health, I was pregnant. So ideally, I was in there with people who may have been at risk for other things.
Right.
Outside of just the feelings of depression or feelings of not wanting to be here anymore. So I do feel like there should be different facilities and different, organizations and businesses that you can connect with, or agencies, to be able to get help. And that's exactly what we intend to do with Hero. We will have support groups, and support groups will vary. It won't just be everybody all together.
Right.
There'll be groups for individuals. There'll be groups for, couples. There'll be groups for families. There'll be groups for children. And I think more than anything, we really need these groups for children, because we see now there's so many instances where young children are taking their lives.
Yes.
And a lot of times it start as early as 11 and 12 years old.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that that's when the symptoms start.
Exactly.
That's just usually when they manifest. And by that time, people are actually going through with taking their lives now.
Yeah.
And
that's a very good point. If you can pause right there for a moment, because that's not when the symptoms actually start.
Right.
So we have to make sure we are very attentive to our children and understand the importance of getting help and getting them evaluated, as well as ourselves. So you offer these services. So again, we have someone here that's a professional that is able to assist you. So please, if you need help, feel free to reach out to us. We will make sure that your information is confidential. It'll be between you and ShaKema and her incorporation, but it's good to know that we have something that's going to assist us in a facility and a corporation to assist us. And you can't look at someone and tell that they have it, because we'll do that.
yeah.
We're so good at trying to figure people out. So to look at you, I would, we would never think that. So you got to understand, when I say you, we have to understand that you can't look at a person and tell what they're dealing with.
You really can't.
No.
And some people will say that, even when you come out with it and say that you're depressed, you're just wanting attention, or, and like for me, even with my son, when my son went through it, there was a question in my parenting that came into play. And, I think I'm a great parent. I might not do everything
well, none of us do.
completely right.
None of us do.
But at the same time, it makes a difference. And when you're dealing with someone who has mental illness versus someone who may not, you do have to be careful in what you say and how you say it. Because you can, like on a good day, you can tell me, you know what, you really make me sick and I don't really be around you today. And it won't faze me. But on a bad day, you could tell me that my whole world will fall apart.
Absolutely.
And I analyze everything. So when you say one thing, it trickles into something else, into something else. And it kind of just becomes a cycle, like a cycle of never ending cycle. You just kind of go around in a circle and you keep going back where you started, and then you don't know where to pick up again. And for me, that huge transition of moving from Charlotte, being in a really fast-paced city, been gone since I was 17 years old, and coming back at the age of 30 back home, that wasn't ideal. That's not something I wanted to do. That wasn't something that I was proud of. I was worried about what other people were going to say. But once I got past that and looked at the bigger picture, my mental health was important.
Absolutely.
My financial health was important.
Absolutely.
Both of those were suffering.
Right.
And my support system here versus the support system I had in Charlotte at the time, it wasn't as ideal. So I said that to say this: it's okay not to be okay, but most importantly, just make sure that you reach out to somebody.
Yes.
If it's a friend, if you don't have any friends, and much like myself, I have a lot of friends. However, when it comes down to my mental health, I become withdrawn. And so I feel more comfortable talking to a therapist than I would sometimes talking to someone that's in my circle.
Right.
And it's not because I don't think they're not supportive, but it's just because sometimes you just want an unbiased opinion.
Absolutely.
And you want to be able to just dump everything. And sometimes your friends aren't in that capacity. Yeah. And I had to learn that. That was very hard for me to learn. Like, I used to take things so personal, like, oh, they don't talk to me this much anymore. I used to talk to them all the time, and now I hardly ever hear from them. And so that would drive me into a state of depression, because I feel like when you set expectations for people, you kind of have to expect the unexpected. And when it happens, you have to learn not to take it personal. Yeah. And that was very hard for me.
It's progressive.
Very
progressive, especially the opinions of others. Unfortunately, so many times we're driven by what other people think of us. It is refreshing, to say the least, to have that freedom of, loving people, but not allowing their opinion to deter you or dictate to how you live your life. And so it was progressive for me, but it is such a sweet place to be, where you understand emotional intelligence,
right?
And you understand that people can only give what they have,
right?
And there's a maximum capacity to everyone. And I consider the source, and I understand when people speak, especially when they speak words that hurt and words that are not uplifting. I understand that they're at maximum capacity, and that's all they can give,
right?
And I understand that. And it's very unfortunate that they are, but I don't allow what they say to dictate to me or make me feel anyway. I'm just like, you're at maximum capacity. I understand. That's all you can give me is negativity. That's all you have. Right. And so we have to get to the point where we don't allow what people say or how they feel to affect us, because it could really cause a lot of, there were times where I felt like I was depressed, and it was amazing. I was at church one evening, and my pastor was preaching about depression. And I just, after the service, I talked to him. I said, Pastor, I think I'm dealing with depression based upon what you said, because I didn't feel like it, because I was still functioning.
Right.
But I wasn't living. I was existing.
Right.
And so that's when I knew that I was dealing with depression. And I'm grateful I didn't have to go see someone. I was able to come out of it myself, because I knew what I needed to do to get out of it. Right. And so sometimes we can help ourselves, but if we can't, we have to make sure we get someone that is able to help us. And there's so many available therapists out here that will be happy to sit down and talk with us. And again, we're asking you tonight, and to please share the video. All 43 people that are watching, share the video, because we need to understand that it is important that our kids are well, and that we take care of ourselves and take care of our family. We cannot assume they are well, that they're doing well, because we have to watch the signs and the symptoms. And sometimes, because we're so busy in life, we don't see them. We don't see that they need help. So again, for those that's just signing on, ShaKema, tell us some of the symptoms that we need to look for within ourselves and within our children.
You'll see a change in your routine. So your day-to-day routine might normally be, you get up, you get dressed, maybe sing some music in the morning, you get your kids ready. If you have any, you go to work, and you're productive. You're able to do stuff. But on a not so good day, your routine changes. Maybe it takes you an extra 15-20 minutes to get out of bed, or you just don't want to get out of bed, or you feel a lot of sadness and hopelessness, and you feel like you're in a dark place, or you be like, oh, I don't feel well, but I don't understand why I don't feel well. Those are some of the more classic symptoms. Some of the more silent symptoms that you may have, maybe that you withdraw. So if you're a talkative person, you may not be talking as much. You may start crying out of nowhere. You may start lashing out at people out of nowhere. And people are like, what's gotten into you today? Like, what's going on? Like, one minute you're good, the next minute you're jumping off the rockets. Like, what's going on with you? So that would be something to look at, especially in children, because children are pretty consistent with their routine. And that's one of the main symptoms that I had noticed, with my son after it was brought to my attention, is he was good and we were laughing and, he would be happy about things. And then all of a sudden he wasn't. And then he was withdrawn, and then he was spending a lot of time in his room, and he didn't want to talk to me about it. And for me, it was pretty much the same. I mean, I'm having a good day right now. And to be honest, I was pretty nervous about coming on here because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm about to really put myself out there. But I do feel like, because you don't know what it looks like, that it's good for me to be live talking about this tonight, because like you said, you can't look at me and tell. And now most days are good days, but there are some days that aren't really good days, and I don't know how to pull myself out of it. And one of the biggest things that I've learned since I've been in therapy is developing coping strategies and identifying those triggers and knowing what you want and what you don't want. Because I'm a people pleaser. I tend to, yes, I can do it. Go ahead and put it on my plate. Yes, I'll be sure to help out. Go ahead and put it on my plate. And my plate is running over. My cup is literally just pouring water out, because I've tried to put myself in 50 million places knowing that I can't. And that is a sign for me that will normally cause me to be withdrawn, is when I tend to overload myself.
So when that happens, what do you do once you feel that anxiety coming on?
I take a step back.
Okay.
I mean, I do operate 2 businesses, and one of my businesses that I work, it's peak season, and so I work a lot of hours. And last week I probably worked on average about 40 some hours, but the week before that I worked like 70 hours. And I was going into the next week, and I was like, I need to decompress. Like, I'm stressed out. I'm not sleeping. I'm up to 2:00 in the morning, turning around and getting up at 7:00 in the morning, trying to get my son ready. And I'm aggravated. I'm aggravated with the world. I'm aggravated with my son. I'm aggravated, with my mom. And I'm just aggravated with people that don't even have nothing to do with what's going on. So I would say for me, it's decompressing, taking a step back, and realizing that I have too much on my plate, and saying, you know what, I can't do this. I'm not going to do that. We'll do this next week. And listening to music. I love music. Yeah,
I love music as well. So I want to thank you personally for coming on Respus Live, because you do share your testimony, and it's hard to do that. I have tons of testimonies that that I would love to share someday about life, because we all have our issues and concerns, and we've all had our wilderness experiences. So thank you for coming and sharing something as personal as your journey, and that you're still currently on, and your son's journey that he's currently on, but you're thriving and you're doing well. So we appreciate you, and I know tonight, if there's just one person that will get help they needed, or that will identify something in their child, it's worth coming on Respus Live. It's worth us having this show. I was excited about it as well, and I was nervous for you as well. Whoa, okay. Okay. Oh, sorry. But I understand how beneficial it will be if we can just touch one person on tonight to make a difference in their life. I was so concerned that I asked your Aunt Darlene to call me. I was just that concerned about you, because before I care about a rating, I care about you. And I am so doggone proud of you. And I just couldn't wait for you to come on the show to share your testimony. And Christina, can you get her some tissue? And to share your testimony, and for us to see what it looks like to be a survivor. You are a survivor. You are an example of what grace looks like, and how, thank you, sweetheart, and how we can overcome the things that life throw at us, and that mental illness can be helped, and then in the process of getting help for yourself, you helping other people. I love it. So thank you so much for coming and sharing your story, because I know it's not easy. Every time I had to share anything personal about myself, it has not been easy.
Right.
But it's going to be beneficial, because I know without a shadow of a doubt, we're going to help somebody. And we're going to save somebody's life, because we're sharing, you're sharing, and we're sharing this broadcast. And again, if you have children, look, pay attention, don't assume it's okay. Right. And if you have issues, take care of yourself, get help, get someone to assist you in your mental health illnesses. So you're doing well, you're working, and you know the triggers, you step back, you make the necessary changes so that you can take care of yourself. That is amazing. So we have to take care of ourselves. It is essential. It's imperative. I can't say it enough. We need to make sure we get the help that we need. So if you need help, please reach out to either me or ShaKema. And again, it'll be confidential. We'll just make sure you get the help that you need. I can steer you to her, and you know, she has the degrees to back up what she's talking about. Educated, beautiful, amazing, and knows exactly how to get you the help that you need, as well as assisting you. So again, we do ask that you reach out to us. ShaKema is tagged, so you can actually send her a message on Facebook, a private message if you'd like. I am also tagged in the video. You can send me a message, but please don't go to sleep tonight if you need help or your child need help without contacting us, because you can never assume where they are. I guarantee you, every parent that had to plan a funeral for their child that committed suicide had no idea it was at that point. Right. So we can't take it for granted. We can't say, oh, we'll get help later. No, it's imperative that we get help now. And so we challenge you tonight to take an inventory and do an analysis of yourself and your family, just to see who needs help, and then get help, because it's okay to get help. That's the main thing. It's okay to get help. So thank you for sharing your testimony, because it is a testimony. You know, you're an overcomer. Even though it's progressive, you're doing well. You're doing well. So again, tell us some of the services that your company offers, and how we can get in contact with you, and anything else you want to share about mental health, because okay. we have about 40 or 45 people watching and doing live parties. I don't know how many people are on their parties, but there's enough people watching that we can help somebody. So just share however you'd like.
So again, our current services that we offer is health and wellness webinars, health and nutrition education, and we also do meal planning and preparation. And as part of our restructuring, we'll be having support groups, and we're also looking, because I'm not one of those people that like to reinvent the wheel. So if there are some agencies or therapists that are out there that are interested in partnering with Hero, we are also looking to connect with you as well, because there may be organizations like the one that I went to for my therapy down here that most people don't know about them, but they've been there. So partnerships are always good, but we will be having events as the year goes along, as it correlates with mental health on various topics. I will be posting a checklist through our organization's website and our Facebook page. So if you don't know what those symptoms are, or for some reason you forget what they are tonight, and you don't, get a chance to go back and listen to the podcast, we will have something that will be posted through our pages where you can kind of do a self-check and see if you might fall in the category of, having a mental illness. But
that is great. And if it's okay, we can share it on the Podcast South page and my page as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be great, because it's good to have that there. So thank you so much for sharing that, and we'll have that checklist, because that way we'll have something that we can actually go by. Yeah. And if it's not there today, it doesn't mean it might not be there tomorrow. So we can keep that checklist, and we can continue to, to make sure we are whole. You were going to say something else before I interrupt. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. So if you want to find out more about our organization, you can go to www.myhero.org. You can also find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/myhero, or you can find us on Instagram at myhero, HEARO. So those are the 3 entities that our information regarding our services are. You're more than welcome to reach out to me on my personal page as well. And we'll be more than happy to assist you with connecting with resources that you need, as well as keeping you guys informed of what's coming up throughout the year.
That is great. And I attempted to put those in while you were talking. So I think I have them in the comments, her information and her website. So thank you again for coming on. And we still have a few more minutes if there's anything else you want to say in closing as to someone that's watching.
Again, don't be ashamed and don't be embarrassed if you do feel like you suffer from a mental illness. Even as parents, if you feel like your child may be suffering as well, don't beat yourself up about it. I did. Even when I was diagnosed myself, I beat myself up about it. But understand that it's okay. Mm-hmm. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay to get help. And it's better to get help on the front end than for something to happen after the fact. And, you're like, I wish I had reached out. So I just want to encourage those that's out there to know that it is okay. Mm-hmm. And then I also want to give a shout out for my outfit tonight. So Minute Makeovers by Shayna. She is amazing. I am very indecisive. I am a procrastinator at its finest. And I contacted her like less than 24 hours ago. It was like, I need something to wear because I don't have anything to wear. And she was able to make adjustments in her schedule to ensure that I had something to wear tonight. And then I also want to give a shout out to my makeup artist, Beauty by Drea. She did a wonderful job on my makeup. This is only my second time in my life having my complete makeup done, including lashes. And she has me looking absolutely gorgeous. She does.
We were talking about you because you were leaving as I was coming, because as you know, Beauty by Drea does my makeup as well. And I was like, did you see ShaKema cheekbone? She says, oh, her bone structure is so beautiful. Your makeup looks so well. And I was like, I'm ashamed. I don't even know if I want to put any makeup on tonight.
She did a good job.
She is very professional. And I was telling her as she was doing my makeup, we were just talking, and I was just telling her how professional she is. I'm at the point now, she came in where I like professionalism. I mean, if you're not professional, I prefer not to even deal with you because my time is valuable.
Right.
And so she's very professional and she does an amazing job. And so Beauty by Drea, we are giving you a shout out on tonight. And Sheena, oh my gosh, it is refreshing to say the least that, to have someone to order your clothes. And it's just awful. It's just awful how much money I've already spent with messing around with Sheena. But I should have a package. Sheena, is my package coming today or tomorrow? I should have a package coming soon. It is just all I do is just kind of tell her what I want. And she's already picked up on what I like to wear. So she orders it and it comes to my house. I don't even have to go to the store. So what'd she say? Oh, it came today. Oh my! It came today. Thanks, Shane. I got my package. So definitely shout out to both of those ladies. Beauty by Drea she's an amazing young lady. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what God is going to do in her life, and as well as Sheena, just being she's actually my personal what is that word I can use? Designer, I guess.
And she's affordable. She's affordable.
Oh,
she's flexible. And the same thing with, Drea, I hit her up at a moment's notice too when she was able to fit me in. So that means a lot, when you're a working, mom and, you get busy in the hustle and bustle of life, to have people that are willing to take time out of their schedule to make sure you're good is definitely appreciated.
Your shirt pull down the back,
so thanks, Shayna. Thanks, Drea.
Thank you. And this is my new baby. Well, actually, it's Christina's, but it's probably mine as well. Oh, you can't see it because of the laptop. This is our new baby. She named him Cash with a K. So Cash is our new addition to our family. And we're so happy to have Cash as part of our family. So, again, thank you, ShaKema, so much for sharing on tonight. Again, I can only imagine how difficult it was. But I am inclined to believe that it was not in vain, that we are going to help people, not only tonight, but as this video shows and as we post it on YouTube, it'll get more hits and it'll have more views. And we'll have people reaching out to you, asking for help. And again, don't be ashamed to get help if you need it. There are so many doctors that are affordable, that'll help, so many programs that's available that we don't know about. Sometimes we say, well, we can't afford it. There are some programs available. If you don't know the programs, ShaKema can help you getting you to the programs that are affordable, because so many times we're like, we don't have insurance, we don't have this, don't let that be the reason why you don't get help. Again, we're going to have the checklist that you're going to provide for us.
Yes.
And we can use the checklist to look at our kids and ourselves just to make sure we're whole. This year in 2020, I wanted to focus Respus Live on mind, body, and soul, making sure that we're good and we're taking care of ourselves, and that our family is whole, because you never know who suffers with mental illnesses, because sometimes it's a silent disease that no one talks about or want to talk about. So I'm so thankful that you came on tonight to share your story and offer assistance and tell us about your programs and your businesses and how you're the CEO and founder. Wait a minute, Cash, I don't have any money to be buying stuff. Don't you come get this? I'm just kidding. He's over here chewing Jamie's cord. Jamie's gonna sue me. But there's so many things that you offer. So again, for those that maybe just signing on, tell us again about your website, how to get in touch with you, and oh my gosh, yes.
So if you want to find out more information about our services, you can go to www.myhero.org. You can also find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/myhero, or you can find us on Instagram at myhero. And again, the services that we offer is health and nutrition education, health and nutrition webinars, and meal planning and preparation. And as part of our restructuring of our organization, we will also be hosting support groups in regards to mental health, events regarding mental health. And we are currently partnering with other agencies who offer mental health services. So if you or any of your loved ones or your kids are experiencing any mental illness and you don't know where to start or don't know any resources, please reach out to us, because we are here and we do want to help you. And more than anything, I want to help you because someone had to help me. And in order for me to be in front of you tonight, someone had to take that step to do what I'm doing now. So I hope that my transparency helps someone. And Miss Sharon, thank you so much for having me tonight. I really appreciate it.
It is my pleasure. Thank you so much for coming and sharing. I am super proud of you and the young lady that you are. And as you continue to blossom, I know God has amazing things in store for you. And sometimes we have to go through our wilderness experiences, and sometimes we have to go through things so that when we can share our story, we can share it from a personal place.
Right.
I couldn't share mental health illnesses like you did because of the personal, things that you've gone through. So your go through wasn't in vain, or your going through isn't in vain. It's going to give you the tools that you need to reach out to people that maybe wouldn't talk to other people because they don't know their story or they don't know what it's like.
Right.
And so some of my most rewarding moments in life is when I can share some of the things I've been through with other women, and I can tell them from a personal place that you will survive, because I'm here tonight as a survivor as well from so many different things. So again, thank you for coming, and I am extremely proud of you. And it is my plan to support you all the way, 110%. And I'm here to help whatever way you need me to. And you can always come back on Respus Live and share more information about your foundation, your incorporation, as well as the other things you have going on. You are an amazing young lady, and I'm excited about what God's going to do in your life and how this will be an amazing ministry and opportunity for you to help so many people. And again, if you need help, if your children need help, I recommend that you contact us. And again, it's confidential, and we'll keep your information confidential, but you can actually reach out to us either Facebook Messenger or ShaKema. I have her information in the comments below. Please reach out if you need help. And again, don't wait. If you know that your children or your child is suffering from symptoms, get them some help. And if you know you need to get some help as well. And again, thank you so much for joining Respus Live. I do want to give a shout out to our sponsors. And again, if you would like to be a sponsor for Respus Live, we have the links on the page. You can actually donate Cash App as well as PayPal. Any donation is accepted. I call this a ministry, ShaKema, because I believe we touch lives every week when we come on. So please, if you feel free to, you are able to donate anything. There's no big or little donation. We'll take them all and we'll use them properly to continue to be a blessing to so many people. So if you'd like to give on tonight, we do have this information available. A shout out to our sponsor, A&A Promotion, who does the Respus Live theme music, as well as Beauty by Drea, who actually beats my face every week. Thank you, Drea, for taking excellent care of me and ShaKema on tonight. We appreciate you and your professionalism. So if you're in need of a makeup artist and you're in Wilmington or surrounding areas, I recommend Beauty by Drea to take care of your needs. And again, thank you all for signing on tonight. And we want to close with saying, if you need help, get it, because it is imperative to take care of you. So my daughter is doing her finger like this. So we thank my sunshine and her friend for coming to the studio tonight. I don't like to call names on the air, but Ayana and Christina are here on tonight. Thank you, ladies, for coming. I love having a live studio audience, so we thank you. Again, if you need help, get help. Hashtag taking care of me, taking care of yourself, taking care of your family. ShaKema, thank you again so much for coming on Respus Live. And to each of you, it is my prayer you have an amazing evening, and take care, and may God's peace be with you until we meet again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Cash was over here trying to chew
up
Jamie's
the cord.
I was like, I don't have money to pay for Jamie's.